Slip around now and see what's making news with our media review. This happens every Monday night with Walter. Nick Hayes is the Director of Media Stable, and he joins me. G'day, Nick.
G'day, John. Well, why don't we give Walter's number out to all the listeners so that we can all send Walter a big get well soon.
Mate, I'd never sit in this chair again if I did that.
Yes, we can look it up. We could look it up on the directory there, I'm sure.
Oh, yes. No, look, he's going well. Look, he's tucked up in bed with I think a water bottle and a hot cocoa as I speak, so there you go.
Well, I hope he's feeling better and look forward to catching up with him next week.
He's in good hands. Yes, I'm sure you do. Now, look, the Malaysian Airlines disaster is still holding a lot of attention in the media?
Yeah, it definitely is. And look, we've been talking about this now pretty much solid for almost 9-10 days, and it's still going to be a big topic of discussion. There's going to be further developments. I said to Walter last week, we'll try and find a better subject to talk about because it's one that's just going to be playing out for a long, long time, and a story that will just continue to develop. And hopefully we're going to get the results, and diplomacy is going to kick in and find us a way to get all the Australians that have been lost. One recent development over the last week since I spoke to Walter is that another Australian was found. He did have a dual citizenship with New Zealand, so that brings the tally up just one more higher. But look, it's a story. I thought we'd just quickly mention it because it would be remiss of me not to, particularly because it has been the number one issue that we have seen all week, and also too, it has been a big issue. It will be our biggest issue of the year. I have no doubt about this. That the Malaysian Airlines, the flight that came down, will be the number one media issue for the year.
Yes, well said. And there's still a lot of interest in where that missing Malaysian flight has disappeared to, too.
Yeah, and that will continue on as well. And you know what, for one airline to have so much trouble and to be hit with such bad luck, it's one that you just want to have to question whether you would actually get on an airline that starts with an MH. But look, you've just got to put it down to really what was bad luck, and also to really something that you just hope we never see again. But the other big issue, I suppose, there, John, and one that we talk a little bit about because they are such great fodder for the media, is the Palmer United Party.
Oh, for all the wrong reasons, yes.
For all the wrong reasons. And Jacquie Lambie, look, I'm probably going to shed a little bit of a different light because I've been listening to talkback callers right around the country and getting their views on what they thought of what Jacquie Lambie said. Now, I'll set the scene very quickly. Jacquie Lambie had an interview down in Tasmania with an FM station. She was questioned about whether she was dating or whether she was in a relationship, and she'd mentioned that she hadn't been in a relationship for over 10 years. Then the radio station said, "Look, we'll try and find you a partner. What kind of partner are you? What kind of partner are you looking for? What are you looking for in a man?" Well, she made mention that she would like a man with plenty of money. He has to be fairly well endowed and doesn't talk a lot. Well, you know, John, if a male said that on radio or newspaper or print or any form of media at all, he not only would be thrown out of his party, he'd pretty much be hung, drawn and quartered by just about every Australian that is walking around.
Hear, hear.
Yeah, and it just seems that the double standard seems to be the big issue that was being discussed. And also, too, where...
Mind you, I don't know that she's made any friends by going on what she said and how it's being... accepted.
Look, you know what? The one thing that I don't like, John, is I think that I think Australian people are actually really getting a little sick and tired of politicians being stuck to the rhetoric and to the political line that they have to take, and we don't really see what a real politician is about. They seem to go into this little shell and go with the particular party line, and we don't get the real feeling or. You've all of a sudden seen what Jacquie Lambie really thinks and sees. Now, what she said...
Well, look, I don't think it really matters. I mean, I think it's good that they say what they think, but it's I suppose, how it's expressed.
Yeah, and look, you know what? It wasn't particularly in good taste, and there's nothing about really Jacquie Lambie that has been in good taste. But you know what I protect and I think is beautiful, and I'd love to hear from your callers and from your listeners tonight, whether what she said, regardless it was out of bad taste, but the fact that she actually said what she felt, and the fact that we're really getting the real individual there, as opposed to, let's say, you know, the Liberal Party and the Labor Party. There was a famous line from Julia Gillard. The real Julia Gillard's here today because She was playing the public relations line the whole way, and people saw that it was fake. We're seeing real, authentic politicians here. I'm not suggesting that they're good politicians, John. I'm just suggesting that they're actually being themselves. And it was an FM station in Tasmania. They're having a little bit of fun. But I tell you what, the media advisor to the Palm United Party would probably be turning over in his grave if he was not alive, because quite frankly, keeping control of the Palm United Party, I think there's not enough money going around to be a media advisor.
Look, I can see you getting the gig, Nick. I don't think I
could get the gig. I don't think I could control. Geez, imagine trying to control Clive Palmer.
Big Clive, yeah. It's interesting too. The other thing to take into account, sometimes people try and be funny, and it falls as flat as a tack sometimes. And I don't know whether she was trying to do that. I don't know. You'd have to listen to the tone of her voice to sort of gauge whether she was trying to be funny and just really isn't.
Yeah, look, I just think she's a genuine bogan, and I say that with real heart. Actually, I think she is who she really is, and she doesn't try. Well,
they voted for her, so I mean, obviously they know what they're getting themselves in for when they vote for her, and if she's representing her constituents, well and good.
Well, there was a lot of talk back and a lot of commentary in the media there that was suggesting to say that, look, she's just being herself, and quite a large part of the population, talks like Jacquie Lambie, thinks like Jacquie Lambie, and quite frankly, we're happy to see her come into politics. So, look, it is something a bit fresh, maybe just for the sake of Australian politics, and also particularly on the international scene. We do hide her away when we do have dignitaries coming through. But look, she says it how she sees it, and I think there's something that's really appealing about that. And I'm a little bit for it, but she could probably just have a quick chat with her media advisor before she goes down that line, particularly when she's talking about male genitalia, and also too, the fact that if a man is quite quiet and shuts up. I don't think that's a good message to be sending out to 50% of the population.
Nick Hayes is with me. He's the Director of Media Stable. This is News Talk 4BC. Up and down the coast of Queensland. Back with more of Nick in just a second as we look at what's making news right around the country. We're talking about some of the stories that you're talking about right around the country. Now, the Commonwealth Games, are you watching them, Nick?
I'm watching them, John. And you know what? I didn't think I was going to. I thought I was burnt out on sport. There's been so much international sport and so much sport making me get up at 2 o'clock in the morning. But
hot on the heels of the World Cup, of course, of soccer.
Hot on the heels of the World Cup, and then you've got the Tour de France that just...
Oh, yeah, that's right. Wimbledon, all of it.
Wimbledon, it's just look, I love it.
It's a feast.
I love my sport. But I thought the Commonwealth Games was gonna be a little bit of a fizzer. But you know what? Success breeds success, John. And I tell you what, there has been quite good numbers there for Channel 10 watching the Commonwealth Games. And boy, don't we love our boys and girls in the pool, and also too on the cycling track.
Well, there's been just some fabulous performances by all athletes, particularly Australians, which is no surprise.
Really well. In fact, the last couple of Commonwealth Games, I think we could almost call them the Australia Games. It's a little bit difficult because England really has they've stepped up the game since the London Games, and also too since China Olympics. So they're definitely in the hunt there for it. I think it'll come down to those two. But look, the broadcast has been brilliant. They've got some great commentators that have been doing some great work around. The success in the pool has really done us, and it's almost that turnaround. 2 years ago, we were looking at the London Olympics and we're really disappointed with our swimmers. In fact, the swimmers, it just looked as though, even when they were winning silver and bronze, they just looked as though they'd just been taken around the back and given a punch in the stomach. They just looked deflated. These swimmers look big, strong, powerful, and they're really leading the way. And yeah, success really does lead and attracts viewers to watching it at all hours, and Channel 10 is very, very happy with the numbers.
And I think the mixing in of the para sports too has been a winner for them.
Oh, beautiful. It's beautifully done. And look, you could imagine if you're putting on a Commonwealth Games and then putting on the para sports afterwards, like the Olympic Games and the Paralympics, it would be very difficult to get the attention for the Paralympics and para sports after the key sports that have been played. Look, they're doing it really well. One big one that I thought that many of the listeners must have seen was the young 15-year-old Madison Elliott from New South Wales in her win in the swim in the pool. wonderful to watch. The reaction that she got when she won the gold medal and broke the record, it was just gorgeous. And, you know, that is what I guess the Commonwealth Games and the parasports are all about, is really looking at the immense joy that it brings, but also to rising above the odds. And that's what young Madison's done.
Now, of course, we've mentioned the great feast of sport that we've experienced, including the Commonwealth Games that are currently happening. But I guess one of the highlights would have had to have been watching the games and then to hear about that fabulous result for another Aussie at the Grand Prix over there in Hungary.
Yeah, now, we've got to say his name properly, John, because this has been going right around the country, and we keep saying his name incorrectly. And I've been advised by my good friends from the Italian consulate that it's Daniel Ricciardo.
Ricciardo. Oh, I'll let you say it.
Now, look, if there's any Italian listeners out there, they're going to have to convince me that it's anything different to that. But, look...
he's a damn good driver, whatever his name.
West Australian boy, his second win for a Grand Prix, and you really sense that this boy is going places. An amazing race, beautiful big smile on the West Australian boy, and when he gets up, and he really showed raw emotion as he was going around the track once he'd won. Wonderful, wonderful for the sport, and really a great time. Oh, look, I tell you, it's probably one of the highlights again. We mentioned that his win in Canada was probably going to be one of the sporting highlights of the year. To back it up there with the win in Hungary is just fantastic. And, oh, look, it's just, what a night for Channel 10, because Channel 10 obviously has the contract there and through its sporting station there to show the Grand Prix. They cut from the Commonwealth Games right over to the win, because it was just something there that in the last 3 laps he's come off and pulled off a beautiful win. And
yeah, we're going to see a lot more of him, I reckon.
For a little while.
We're going to see a lot more of him.
Well, we will definitely see a lot more of him. I think, and what was said by a lot of the sporting commentators around the country today, is he will win a world championship. There's no doubt about it.
Now, look, we've got about another 60 seconds, but I just wanted to touch base with you on this one, because this looks like it's done big business for Channel 10, and that's the MasterChef franchise.
Well, the MasterChef franchise, the winner was announced tonight. His name is Brent. He is a Bobcat driver. 1.35 million viewers watched it last night. I will get the official numbers tonight on who watched it tonight. I actually thought that my sister-in-law was in the competition. Her name was Laura in the competition, but she looks a lot like my sister-in-law, PJ, and I thought, what is she doing there? But look, what a great win for Brent. Great win for Channel 10. Channel 10 over the last 48 hours has almost won all of the ratings, and it's very rare that Channel 10 gets that opportunity, but they hit the nail on the head with MasterChef. They should hang on to that. And I think they're going to do pretty well with the Commonwealth Games as well.
All right, mate. Well, look, Nick, always good to chat with you. And, of course, you'll be back with Walter next week. If we'd like to have a look at some of these stories, Media Stable, I guess, has a website?
Yeah, we do, mediastable.com.au. And, yeah, sure, we can have a look. And, look, we sit and advise on all things media. So, yeah, definitely touch base with us.
Good on you, Nick. Nice talking with you.
Lovely, John.
Good, mate. There he is, Nick Hayes, Director of Media Stable. And as you heard him say, you can get on the web and just have a look at what's making news and what we've been talking about. Okay, we're going to be talking to Kevin Trask in just a moment. Memories are made